and Rupert, who are watching on land from sailing boat Mirror. Grandad and Ethan are watching out to sea. So there we are, a couple linked by the radio. And what a treat. Now, we weren't going to promise you red, white and blue smoke because we weren't sure it was going to happen, but by goodness it has. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of Clacton, let's welcome the Firebirds. Red smoke from the tips of one wing, blue smoke from the other, and white from the rear of the aircraft. Both of them trailing red, white and blue as they fly from right to left now.
Flying the RV4 aircraft, which is often nicknamed the hot rod of the sky. The RV aircraft are perhaps the most popular self-built aircraft in the world. Originally designed in America, these have been highly modified for aerobatic routines. We're having a little boogie here on the commentary point here with the fantastic music accompanying this aerobatic display from the Firebirds. These aircraft weigh as little as a third of a VW Golf car, around 500 kilograms, but they are powered by a mighty 5.3-litre, 160 horsepower engine, giving it the performance of a hot rod. Normal cruising speeds around 160 miles per hour, but these pilots don't do normal. So
they don't do normal.
So during the display, you can see them travelling as high as either 0 miles per hour or 200 miles per hour as they make the most of the entire flight envelope.
Wow, close formation from Nigel and John as they now fly from left to right, banking up into the sky, splitting off, fanning out, and heading in either direction. Now, what I love about the fact that, as we've said before, when the smoke trails out of the aircraft, you can see the precision of the flying because it marks the track of the aircraft. Both done a loop in the sky. Now one is chasing the other. The sun is glinting off their white bodies. The livery is all white on these Firebird aircraft.
A lovely little wing over to the left there as they fly in absolute close formation aerobatics. The pilots are highly practiced and trained at aerobatic flying. They practice their routine not just in the air but also walking it through on the ground. And in fact, yesterday they told me about the routine using spoons at the breakfast table.
You should have videoed that. That would have been something to see, I think.
Now, one of the things the pilots also do before breakfast is they go running, because peak physical fitness is super important for display pilots. During the routine, they will be pulling up to 6G. The human body is really only designed to sustain 1G at any time. Pulling 6G is the equivalent of a cow sitting on your chest.
The lights on the tips of each wing piercing through the clouds at that point as they head one to the left, one to the right, up into the sky now.
Now they're performing what you call opposition maneuvers now. We've got one aircraft far apart from the other, but they are still in absolute synchronization. So a derry turn and then flying towards one another on the straight and level, directly in front of the crowd line as they pull up with the smoke trailing into a heart.
They did a heart from the bottom up rather than the top down. Very nice.
They like to keep us on our toes. Now, of course, when the pilots reach the top of the heart and they just tip over the top, that's when they start to pull negative G, and they will pull up to -3 negative G while performing this routine. Now, I can tell you that G-force in the negative is extremely uncomfortable, and that's where the peak physical fitness really comes into play. The pilots will be grunting and clenching their muscles as they perform the routine.
Clenching and grunting, I can imagine them now as the two now flying. Almost looks like they're going to cross over right in front of us. One was coming from the left, one was coming from the right. They did that wonderful close pass.
And I love it, Ian, as they pull up to the vertical and then they twirl as they go.
Very graceful. Now, I know Nigel has been quoted as saying, I've been lucky enough to do a mix of flying, military and civil stuff, big aeroplanes and little aeroplanes, but this is really a lot of fun. And John, my number 2, does a lot of Spitfire and Mustang flying, but he says what we do in the RV4 is some of the best flying there is. And who can argue with that when we see what they're able to do with these two aircraft, very light aircraft.
Now, as we saw last night, they do the evening pyrotechnic routine, and they've got the coloured wingtip colours that were coming red, white and blue out of the aircraft wingtips this afternoon. And they said to me, this is an exclusive to Clacton Airshow, the first time they've done that in a daytime routine. They are now available to do gender reveals. So if you fancy having a gender reveal with a bit of something different in the sky, get in touch with the Firebirds. Now, pilot number 2 is John Doddy, who grew up in Scotland. In his schoolboy years, he was into model aircraft and he joined the Air Training Corps. He went on to Dundee University and studied electrical engineering before learning to fly in Cessna 152s at Dundee Flying Club. He then went on for a career as a research scientist with the Ministry of Defence Royal Aircraft Establishment at Farnborough. He then took on to flying chipmunks, tiger moths and tipsy nippers, and then had the opportunity to fly the RAF's Douglas DC-3. He then spent some time flying the British Military Parachute Centre in West Germany before taking a commercial job flying for Scottish Fisheries Protection Agency before eventually going to the airlines to fly Boeing aircraft. When he's not flying airliners, John likes to pursue his passion for flying old aircraft. DC-3s, Firebirds, Spitfires, Hurricanes, Mustangs, Sea Furies, he's flown them all. And he's never happier when he's in the air. centre, pitching up, the smoke is going on, and they're flying in opposite directions. Are they going to give us another heart?
Oh, that's a big heart. You can see how the breeze has picked up because the smoke marking out that heart is moving quite quickly now towards Clacton Pier. Thank you so much for the heart.